Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, honey. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome everyone. To what? Do we have a show name?
No, I think they just called us Sunday night late session.
Sunday Night Live. I want to call it Creators Corner. Creators only, something like that. So not for just people who want to put thumbs down or not like stuff, just for the creators in the grind, in the trenches, who know what it's like to try to create, and try to bring things to life and how difficult that is. So yeah, something to that effect. Creators Corner. We'll do a poll.
A poll?
Yeah, we could do a YouTube poll.
It's whatever you want it to be, honey.
That's gonna be one of those episodes for the very first episode. Okay, so my wife is usually the talker. I'll kick it off. So I wanted to create this channel because we were going on a journey of creating and learning to create. And we had YouTube channels before. I'm kind of rebooting them now. Mine, the handle is @StudioMHQ. But essentially, it's I'm Ali, the productivity guy, the AI productivity guy. And launching it has been challenging. In the last few weeks, I published about 5 episodes, but definitely a steep learning curve and bumps along the way. So I just wanted to, create this platform where we could share with other creators, and grow together, just, day by day, week by week, month by month, and, hopefully get to where we all want to get to.
Well, I think it's worth noting that we're starting again on YouTube, but we've done some stuff with podcasting, and you were really trying to get your podcast going first over the last couple of months and trying that out as a content angle. But YouTube is the way. A lot more opportunity, but way more, as you all know, way more technical, way more stuff to figure out between the camera and the lights and the gear and the tech and the workflows and figuring out storage cards and SSDs, and it's an endless list of learnings.
And lights and camera and waves in the background, LED wall, and how to get rid of them. I have so much to share, but the podcast, I even forgot about that. So started with, just the audio pod, and then I learned the hard way that it's not like YouTube where audio pods get pushed out by, say, Spotify, if you're on Spotify or Apple. Literally no one goes to your pod. I did about 2 weeks in a row, 10 episodes. And I think outside of the people I sent it to, no one received this podcast. I just don't understand how that's possible, that absolutely no one, it seems like, randomly ran into the pod on artificial intelligence. I thought it was a no-brainer for sure. People would be looking at Spotify or Apple and searching for AI and come across my Caffeinated Intelligence podcast, but I don't think that's been the case. And then I've since learned from myself, from my wife, who's had a successful podcast for a while, but stopped and then started it up again. You have to promote it.
You have to promote it, and it's just a different way of thinking about content. One being push, one being pull. So you have YouTube, you have Instagram, TikTok that is serving you stuff all the time, pushing you through the algorithm. But podcasting is more like search. You have to go search and seek out the content that you want to listen to. So for podcasting, search words and SEO and all that stuff is way more important to the success of your podcast, especially in the early days before you even have people.
Yeah, no, it makes more sense because I remember when you were, at the height of it, with your 10,000 downloads, you had so much people reaching out to you to be on your pod, other podcasters, because that's a way that podcasters get, found or get listeners, is from jumping on other podcasts. So it's a whole other beast. But I said, okay, let's maybe start with the YouTube first, and then I'll go back to the pod, because I do enjoy it. I do like doing them. And it was on AI, which is the order of the day, so I was able to keep up with new trends, news, and that sort of thing by scripting and writing and producing episodes on certain topics. So it's a great way to stay on top of things and kind of from an authoritative lens, like learn a little bit more than, the average person, so you stay ahead. So yeah, definitely going to get back to it. Was just surprised that, wow, nobody gets your podcast.
Well, why don't you share a little bit more about why content and why now in terms of where this fits and why we're pushing so hard on it and where we're trying to go?
Yeah, I think for myself, when I look around in business, so I've had a 25-year career in finance. I've seen tons of change. I'm head of regulatory risk and change management. I've seen it from the change management side to now it's called change enablement, and different changes within the organization. I've always been with a large multinational organization that spans the globe. So there's been tons of different projects, tons of different operating models, tons of different CEOs and systems and eras of business and presidents and prime ministers and everything. So things have always been changing, but never at such a rapid pace. And I think it's cliche to say that it's changing at a rapid pace, but it is changing at a rapid pace. Like, companies looking to, like Amazon, let go 30,000 people at one time. That would be unheard of unless they lost a significant portion of their business. Now it's commonplace. Look at Google and all the tech companies. When AI came in, I think a lot of folks thought, okay, it's going to do the sales pitch was the low hanging fruit or the low value work to free up people to do other work. But I guess it's doing some of that, but it's also displacing a lot of individuals as well. And those tech companies specifically, I feel personally that they felt that if they're going to be a tech company, they have to adopt the tech. So they have to use it wherever possible. And that's caused a massive loss of employment for a lot of folks. So I think for us, I think it makes sense to not just pay attention, but learn how to drive the new technology or the new era, I want to call it, not even a technology, drive the new era like that we're in, the digital era, and learn to be in the driver's seat for ourselves, for our kids, learn how to command these tools, learn how to use them to make business, to make industry, to make a living, to make a career, to teach. There's so many reasons, but I think right now it's cutting across every industry, whereas you're in marketing, I'm in finance, and we're still seeing, the proliferation of AI tools and departments and positions popping up everywhere. AI governance is in finance as well as through the roof. There's AI governance committees popping up now, and the chief data officer is now the chief AI officer. So I think companies are feeling pressure in every industry to put up their hand and say that and show that they're doing something with AI, whether it's working or not, whether it's benefiting folks or not. I don't know. We'll see. But everyone is going in that direction, what I say, for better or for worse. So I think it makes sense for us to at least know what's going on and make sure we're, involved and not saying ignorant and not closing our eyes and hoping things don't change. But let's, how can we be at the forefront of that change?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think AI has changed a lot of things. And when I think about our right now ambitions to create content and be talking about those things, it's kind of the same but different. So for me, when I think about how this type of tool gives the common person, super skills or super abilities to create, and kind of the disparity between somebody who was super skilled and had all this expertise and somebody who did not. Everybody is starting to middle out and become a lot more closely aligned in the type of work they can do, the quality of their output. I actually think as a human, just finding more ways to be unique, to develop a unique perspective, to continue to hone in on human skills that can't necessarily be supplemented by a machine or by AI. For me, leaning into being a creator is just a way to hone some new skills, think about my unique position, and continue to talk about topics that relate to people being really good humans. So it's kind of same but different.
No, it's same as well. You touched a nerve when I was speaking. Isn't she such a great speaker? Oh, you touched a nerve because I was thinking, yes, as well, that amazing part of it for wannabe creators like myself who don't have the skills to produce digital assets or couldn't produce digital assets before. I can do that now with AI. I could not produce logos, websites, any of that. But now with vibe coding or whatever you want to call it, large language models, you're able, in natural language processing, you're able to create things without having to wait and get stuck in a bottleneck because your editor, your designer, or whoever is slowing you down, which I've dealt with so much in my life. Now I could right now produce 100 thumbnails without having to send it out for this show right now. I could do video intro. We can even edit the podcast, you're telling me now, with AI. So as you can see, that's so exciting that there's really no excuses. So I shouldn't say just from just a negative lens, but from a creative standpoint, wow, it's a great time to, what a time to be alive. Like, it's a great time to be alive. There's really no excuses. Mm-hmm. Like, you can do this now with just learning a skill, a new tool, and not having to learn every single tool, but seeing what works for you, what's out there, and one or two tools that work for you. Wow, you have your workflow and you're running. Mm-hmm. And I don't say workflow, it even be sounding, like it's fancy AI workflows. Just to say you have a system you can to produce things. You can create on your own now. Mm-hmm. There literally is no more barriers, no more bottlenecks to creation. So,
admittedly, I'm finding the content creation part easier than actually systematizing more of the production part, which is where you're a lot better in terms of being an operator. And, I use ChatGPT often to help riff on episode ideas and captions. And that part is like magic, in sync, having a thought partner and creative director to help me work through some of the ideas, but still looking for the right tools to then calendarize as these 100 pieces of ideas are generated. How do I put it into a flow where I know on Monday upcoming, I'm working on this specific idea that I've already worked through. I find sometimes I'm redoing work, reprompting work because I don't yet have it organized into a system for the post-production. Whereas creating has been really fun. Last week, I was able to record with our great studio setup. It looks really good. I have no qualms about how it looks. So I could do a long form video that doubled as audio content for the podcast, use some new AI tools. One I was playing with called Submagic, chopped it into 20 different shorts with stylish captions in the style that I liked. So that was 1 hour of recording and maybe 1 hour of editing and cleaning it up in CapCut. And that's like 30 different pieces of content that have come from that. So it's very different than even 4 years ago when I started podcasting.
Yeah. Oh, so I'll ask you a question then. And then I want to get into a bit of, because I love this. I probably could go all days until the memory card runs out. Just on the learnings and the journey. But yeah, so what would you say then is the major difference between your creative process now or workflow now and how it was 4 years ago now that you have these AI tools? Because I can't imagine doing any of this without the tools that we have in place right now.
It's the gift and the curse.
It's too much
info. The gift and the
especially
curse.
For you.
Yes.
Especially for you who likes to go through. If she gets, say, 100 different pieces of information, she will go through all 100. If I get 100, I'm looking at the first 10, seeing what works and then what I like and taking. But she's so thorough, go through each one. So yeah, it's the gift and curse for sure.
I find I can just get there faster, right? So when I'm riffing on ideas, it's still some of the things that I feel really called to speak on, and the message and the tone is there, but I can get there so much faster having, call it a 70% ready script that I can tweak from and pull from. and also feeling like all of the areas where I want to be strategic. And let's say I was considering, I want to land this message. I know LinkedIn treats this message differently than Insta, which treats it differently than YouTube. It's being able to identify all the parts of my vision, but having a tool that can actually help me assemble it and build a plan to execute on it. So I just get there way faster.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I'm thinking going forward, it's almost too much information at times though for myself, because I use different, I guess, getting to the learning and the sharing. I learned use different chatbots for the creative process. And I'm starting to use different chatbots to fact check the other ones and make sure they're correct. So you'll say to one chatbot, you'll go to ChatGPT and say, give me, the top 10 news stories today that I should be thinking about for AI potentially to do content on. And then you go to Gemini, and it'll give you 10 different ones. And then you can go to Claude and Grok, and these will all give you different answers. Sometimes there's crossover, so sometimes it's confusing to kind of, with all the new information, I could see folks who aren't decisive having problems actually picking a lane and going with it and sticking to it. So I think I guess the lesson for myself is you still have to have your own mind, and you still have to know what you want to do going in. These tools can help you with the ideas, but you still have to know, because some of these tools as well will lead you in paths you didn't necessarily want to go from a content perspective, how you want things to look or feel, because before you started how you want things to look, how you want it to feel. But with ChatGPT and others, they can they're tuned and they're created with different, I guess, personalities and perspectives. And if you ask the chatbot, they'll tell you as well. Claude is one that's known for, that's why Claude is from Anthropic. So it's like a chatbot like ChatGPT is known for being more even keeled. It's not as over enthusiastic as ChatGPT is. So you'll get different answers when you use that different tool. So you have to find out what works best for you. And you don't want something necessarily to color your ideas. Maybe you just want something to bring your ideas for life. That's why using the different tools makes sense. So you find out what works for you and what could get you to, where you want to go. So,
well, your content is, I find, trickier to produce. And one of your skills is you're a research guy. You can go very, very deep on a topic. So for you, who's actually looking at Claude and Grok and ChatGPT and Gemini and playing with the tools, once you see it, you actually want to go down the rabbit hole and learn feature to feature what's different and what's not, where my eyes kind of glaze over when it comes to the technical. Whereas, I think that's where we balance each other out really well, in that, my content, I really focus on being highly emotionally resonant for people, and the storytelling and, bringing personal experiences into it. So in some ways it makes it easier to riff, but then also when it's time for me to call on some specific examples, that's actually where it takes me more time to try to give depth in a tool or a tactic or a solution that I'm presenting, because I kind of like to play in the emotion land for longer.
Yeah, for sure. And it's story. And that's what I want to get into more of. And that's why I really want this to be for creators only, because we all have a story that we want to tell. And that's what I said. These two tools help you tell that story. One thing I learned, again, was using the multiple tools to kind of check each other to make sure your information is accurate. Very important. But if you're leaning more on the emotional side of it, then you don't necessarily need to do that as much. But if you're trying to be technical and teach certain ways to do things, you want to make sure it's accurate. Or if you're presenting more of a news type content and newsworthy type content, then yes, you want to go through and make sure you're using them to fact check each other. But I guess even bigger than that is just that first piece of content and not being stuck with that analysis paralysis. I'm sure there's even folks watching that have so many great ideas and so many ambitions and so many things they want to do, but for some reason, it's just that first one is so difficult. I was listening to Ali Abdaal, so I wanted to share that as well. So I wanted this to be motivational as well for people to do it, because people will see this and like, oh, I could do that when I do a podcast, and there's no reason you can't. And it was just Ali Abdaal I was listening to, and he said, nobody cares about your podcast. Like, nobody cares about this podcast. Like, if it's good, if it's bad, if it's just okay. Like, nobody cares. Some people will like it, some people won't, some people click on, some people click off, some people ignore it, right? So it's just for you to produce what you want to share.
And for you to uncover yourself in the process. Like, the gift is who we become after we record the episode and after we've learned all the things and failed and lost the footage and never hit record and re-record it again. It's the learning, and the gift is as much for us as it might be for our listeners or watchers or viewers.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think about, it's deep because you're becoming, you're actualizing the things that you dreamed of. We're sitting in our studio that we've built and I've wanted to use for months and months and months, if not years. But it's just, different, I guess, things that come in your way of the creative process that stops you from just creating, so
do you think it's the creative process, or do you think it's other blockers?
Well, I always like to say like everything is the same thing. So there's always excuses to not do something, and when I say excuses, I mean valid reasons. But it's just how you want to frame them or categorize them or prioritize them. So yeah, for me, I think it's more, it's legitimate blockers, but it's learning to push through. Because I think anything you've ever accomplished that's been great, or they say that's worthwhile, it's work. It's supposed to be hard. That's what makes it great. So you have to lead into the hard. It again is so cliche, but I think it's blockers. It's hard. It's not easy. Like even getting the setup and getting the camera right, and then the battery, and then the recording, and everything is going. And then if you wanted to do it very highly polished, like I want to do for my other show or channel, it takes a lot. Then you're coordinating with editors, you're relying on other people, etc. And I know I said there's tools you could use, but at some stages you're still relying on folks. So you can get discouraged very easily, and then you could produce content and then you get 1 or 2 views or hundreds of views like I was getting before when we had started, and not realizing that's very good for someone who just started. If I could go back now, like my last video had like 50 views. So I was like, I would take the 300 I had before. And then before I had 6 videos at 300 each, and I was like, man, this is garbage. I'm not doing this. This is a waste of my time. It's like, wow, 300 people clicked on your video. It'd be like, who are you? Who am I? To start. This is fantastic. So it's just like setting expectations. And one thing I'd share then to creators that I've heard recently is don't measure your success in terms of views in the beginning. Just measure it in terms of how many uploads you do. Like, try to be consistent with your uploads. That's success, because you can't control anything else outside of that. Yes, you can learn from it, but if you learn to be consistent, and your win is being consistent and not being like myself and posting something and then 6 hours later you don't see any views, so you're changing the thumbnail and that sort of thing. So other mistakes that I have made, it's just relax, post, let it sit there for 24, 48 hours and focus on producing your next piece of content that's even better than that content, as opposed to stressing over that one thing that you're hoping goes viral. It doesn't really work like that in all cases, or hasn't worked like that for myself.
I don't think it works like that for most people, which is the illusion. But they say, you shouldn't even be judging yourself on your content before your first 100 videos are done, right? Give yourself a chance to form your style, learn through your edits, develop a different taste for what your videos and content are supposed to look like and feel like, and get a sense of an actual audience that you're building. What is it that they want to see from you? What is it they expect to hear from you? So it's also sometimes the type of content you want to do. People are not ready for you to be the authority on it. So it's learning through that process as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Before we sign off, the things to look forward to, I guess, in the next few weeks, what direction are you going to be taking your content in? I'm curious to hear this myself.
What direction am I going to be taking content in? So, pillars of my content are around kind of 5 key areas. So one is about identity. So I speak a lot about being somebody who's typically the youngest in the room, typically the one of few women in the room, and always the only Black person in the room, maybe one other person of color.
Okay, yes.
Okay, not this room. Most of the other rooms, exclude my house from that.
Yeah.
So I talk a lot about how identity really shapes the way we move about the world, and how that can actually be a superpower if you can embrace it and let it be something that forges you versus feeling insecure about it. So I talk about that. I talk about the experiences of women overall as somebody who also has a partner, has kids, who has equally high ambitions for my family and my kids. Doing that dance and balance is a key part of the story at this stage of our lives. I speak about leadership, my very favorite topic in the whole world. We were digging through the crates of our storage in our basement here, and I uncovered this CD set, Tony Robbins, The Power Within, from like the 80s. But I remember being 5-6 years old in the car driving with my dad. He's taking me to sports and gymnastics, and on the way we're listening to Tony Robbins' Power Within. He's encouraging me and my siblings to make notes in a journal and listen to the prompts that Tony is giving. And those are the types of moments that really forged me and shaped, I think, this love of learning and leadership and believing in the pursuit of a higher self. I talk about leadership. We'll talk about AI. It's inevitable. It's an everyday part of the work I do as somebody who's an HR executive, but also it's fun. As somebody who wants to create, it can be a lot of fun. It can be intimidating. Either way, it's a part of our everyday world now. So it's something that I will be talking about. And the last one is, if you want to get ahead, you want to be an ambitious person, you want to achieve levels of success, if corporate is a place you're trying to navigate, I definitely have a lot of tools and tips. So I think the big difference is all that content is going to show up slightly differently in the different platforms, but it is going to feel like a cohesive story when people go to look me up. So
awesome.
We'll see in a couple weeks.
I'm excited.
Launching on all the places. Nice. What about you, sir?
I should have went first. I can't go after all of that. I'm Ali, the AI productivity guy. That's it. If you want to learn how to use these tools. But yeah, for myself, I always had high ambition, having a family. You want to accomplish a lot, want to achieve a lot for yourself, for your family. You want your family to continue to grow. You want your children to have opportunities to everything. And as one of my friends at work or colleagues at work said, you know, these tools, there's no reason you can't be a Superman right now, you know, or a Superwoman, like at work. Like everybody can be a high performer in every aspect. I think it's safe to say, or fair to say, we've both always been high performers at work. And now with these tools, you can take it to the next level. Or there's people who wanted to get on that level can now get on that level. You can make sure your emails going out are always perfect. Your reports have always been, can now always be checked and the I's dotted and T's crossed. You can go above and beyond now, using ideas on how to go above and beyond if you didn't know yourself. So there's no reason for you not to achieve and exceed and excel now, not just at work, but even entrepreneurship. Whatever lane you want to take now, there's tools to help you get in that lane and excel in that lane. So it's very exciting. So for my channel, it's just, AI productivity. How can you do things more and very efficiently? And then that means if you're efficient, you can do more, you can be more, you can grow more, and you can become more. Yeah, so very exciting to go on that journey of learning, and things are changing so fast. So how can we use all these tools to achieve our ambitions and our goals? because now that we see that it's not just touching the tech industry, it's touching every industry. So no matter what you do, there is a tool out there that you can use. So yeah, my goal is hopefully to make it accessible for folks. I'm not a techie person by nature. I'm a finance guy and an operations guy. So yeah, bringing the tools to life and making them accessible for folks and showing them how they can use it to, be better husbands, fathers, and again, employees or entrepreneurs, run better businesses, just whatever you like to do. So yeah, exciting journey. So I guess we'll put our channel handles in the description and go from there.
We sure will.
Yeah.
Well, this should be fun. Follow along. We are excited to connect with other creators, learn together, fail together. We want to be able to strip back the layers of what's actually working and what's not, and have some fun with it. Right now, at the stage of our journey, it's really just about getting our reps in. So follow along with us and tell us how you're doing as well. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace.